Manchester United 2, Aston Villa 2. Erik ten Hag's 100% record as Manchester United manager on the pre-season tour ends, but he is still undefeated. Marcel, thoughts on a game of two halves?
Underwhelming at times. I mean, there was a little periods where we played well, but to be honest with you, this is back to reality for us now. Premier League opposition, and it's a 2-2. This happened last season. Back to reality, to be honest with you.
Positives and negatives, though, to take from that game. Of course, it's pre-season. What positives? Let's start off with the positives. You like to be optimistic. What positives are you taking from that game?
The first half display from Marcel was good. Really good in terms, well, for a little bit of the period anyway, before the rain started happening and all of that kind of thing. But, you know, very good passing, the back to goal work again. We like to see that. Bruno was very dynamic today. He had a lot of mistakes in his game, but then there was a lot of very, very good parts of his game. Defensively, making a lot of tackles, carrying the ball. Was a lot of times linking up with Rashford and Luke Shaw. And to be honest with you, positives for the likes of Luke Shaw in the early stages, was very active and part of the play. It tailed off towards the second part, and overall maybe was a poor performance when the likes of Bailey comes in. But first half display in terms of the back line, it was okay. Donny was non-existent, but Fred played well. Sancho again had a good game, but overall could have done a bit more for us, and found it a bit difficult to get into the game in the first half, similar to the low as well. Goal chance creations as well wasn't as high. Normally we have a lot more higher chance creation rate for me, but positive. There's a few positives. There's not a lot when you see the tail off in the second half and the fact that we concede 2 goals.
What do you think is the reason for that drop-off in the second half? Clearly, Villa came out, were much of the better side in the second half. More tempo, more energy, more aggression. We can talk about conditions, but Villa have to deal with it as well. So what do you think that the reason is for that drop-off? Because it was both sets of players we used were both just not up to it in that second half.
Comfortability, it's happened to us before. At their ground, we were 2-0 up, and then all of a sudden we get comfortable. We are satisfied with the quality of play that we're playing, and it's not good enough. It's clearly not good enough, because then you start to concede goals, counter-attacks, silly opportunities where you're backing off forward players and allowing them free chances on goal. It's just, complacency is what happens there, and when you have that against Premier League sides and you give them opportunities, they will score. It's not like the other competition that we've been playing recently. So I'm very happy that this has happened in this pre-season environment. Ten Hag is able to obviously look at this and see how he can keep players. That's what they were like last season: complacent, lethargic when they didn't need to be, not focused. How do you get players on the ball for the whole 90 minutes? And that's what we need to be focusing on, especially in that back line. I think that was a lot of the root cause of a lot of our issues today.
So is that how you're looking at it? You're looking at it as there are negatives, but if anything, the negatives are almost a positive for Erik ten Hag here.
Yeah, perfectly said. These are things that to look at that are negative, but they can become positives. That you can look at them and see ways of how to improve the team, especially structurally from the back line. 1v1s, are we going to engage players a lot quicker? There was times where players were backing off. And the wide areas, I really think, our situation right now in terms of fullbacks is not good enough. We need better quality fullbacks. Obviously, I think other issues maybe need to be addressed before then. But today, 2-2 against an Aston Villa side where it's happened before, last minute, I mean, David De Gea.
Well, I was going to be, my next question was going to be David De Gea. So that's the seamless transition that I like, Marcel. Talk to me about De Gea.
He had good moments, but commanding of the area. This is an important element of the game that I would say he's not good enough at. Passing the ball today was good at times. He did give difficult passes to the likes of Malacia. Wan-Bissaka didn't do him many favours at particular moments in terms of just being sensible enough to control the ball. But there's 2 big moments there where corners he needs to impose himself. He needs to get this out of the way now. Get these out of the way now, and at least you give yourself the better chance and the opportunity for next season. He was the captain at a point today. So I'm hoping that he improves on this, but it wasn't that great today.
Wasn't that great from De Gea? 2-2 overall. The Australian leg of the tour is over. Still a couple of pre-season games to play and more to learn for Erik ten Hag.